Okay. So, Batu, today we'll be talking about positivist versus interpretivist. Okay, so these are two different approaches in sociology. Yeah, positivist being the very early approach of sociology, the very beginning, Positivists believe that sociology should be treated as a pure science. The way research is conducted in pure science, similarly, research should be conducted in sociology also. Okay. So when we say sociology must be treated as a pure science, what comes to your mind? So what kind of data are we talking about? Scientific data. And scientific data are usually, are they quantitative or qualitative? Quantitative, very good. So quantitative data, right? Now, when we talk about quantitative data, is it more subjective or objective? Objective. Yeah, that's what sociologists believe. The data that positivists believe, particularly. Okay, that the sociology research should be free of any kind of prejudice, any kind of biasness, feelings, or when you call it value free. Research has to be value free. Okay, no influence. Okay, no biasness. Pure, no subjectivity, obviously. Okay, so I'm just going to write down value free, no biasness. Okay, when you call unbiased, unbiased. What else can? No prejudice. Okay, free of prejudice. Okay, and what else comes to your mind when you say sociology must be treated as a science, as a pure science? So one is quantitative, the other one is objective. Okay, as pure science. Then what else? Objective, yes. Okay, so you see, you are trying to say it's a narrow view of society. Okay, so whereas when you say it's actually a macro level study, all right? Yeah, it's not. It's a macro level study, right? So if they say social structures, they shape the behavior of individual, all right? And they do not even talk about individual. They talk about society as a whole. Okay, so socials. What are the different examples of social structures? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And- Okay, so what do we say? Social structures are like, family, all right, education system, okay, legal system, okay, and then these are the different social structures which actually shape the behavior of an individual, okay, and then they say, let's talk, study, how these behaviors are being shaped by different social structures. So, for example, if it's a family, right? So, what is the role of family? Mm, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So basically, family. Positivists, they see the family is there to give primary socialization to the child. All right. and they do not look at the individual feelings. There could be differences between family to family, individual to individual. They say no, their family is there, and their function is to support them. Okay, to nurture the well-being of the child. Okay, and take care of the well-being of the child. Sorry. Okay, so then they only believe positively. Positivists only believe in measuring items, measuring factors, social factors. So positivists, they always say measure it. Whatever is happening, just measure it. For example, there was one uh, renowned positivist, Emily Durkheim. All right, what he did. Do you know his one of his very famous research? He researched about suicide rates, how social structure exists independently, and right. Okay. So he actually looked at how people in different regions, different areas, they have the suicide rates are variable.
Well, see, if you are living in a more, there is a science behind the fact that if you live in an extremely impoverished area,
Yeah.
no education at all, and for generations it's been the same, suicide rates are low. However, if you live in an area where poverty has recently arrived and people are impoverished, suicide rates will be higher as the generation won't be able to adjust to the new living condition.
Yes.
While in some places the urban sprawl gets too much for some people, and they also there is high suicide rates.
Okay, so that's what exactly that considers. Rates of suicide are not just personal choices; they reflect wider social structures. You know, they like the integration and regulation of social structures. What is family? How family is playing a role? How economic powers um, are actually, economic disparity in a particular society is impacting the suicide rate. So this is what Durkheim, particularly talks about.
Because if you look at it, even this our own country,
Yes.
if you look at the rural areas,
Yeah.
have been poor for centuries.
Yes, exactly.
No one is committing suicide.
So that's actually marginalization, right? So these societies have been marginalized. Okay, and then you can see.
And if there are some societies that have, as of recent,
Hmm.
entered poverty, or a generation has
Hmm.
they have seen the good times, as you can say, the time
Okay.
before the poverty had stricken them, and that may also lead to an increase in suicide rates because it gives them a sense of there's no escape from this.
Okay.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, that's true. And now coming back to against Durkheim's case study, all right, he talked about that, suicide rates are because he found a pattern that higher suicide rates among less socially integrated groups. People who have been marginalized, there is a higher suicide rate among them. And instead of, since positivists believe in objective study, they believe in a quantitative data. So he just played with the numbers. And then, whereas if we look at the other side of the picture, okay, other perspective, which is interpretivist. Interpretivist, they study sociology at a micro level. Okay, they say individuals have feelings. All right, so there could be a group of people in the same category, socially less integrated members of society, but they would not commit suicide because it's individual preference. All right, so that's how positivists differ from interpretivists. Okay, so interpretativists, they believe that society must be studied at a very micro level, individual level. Individual has their own feelings, their own beliefs, their own ideology, and their behavior is being shaped by their own values, okay, by their own ideology. All right, so it's nothing to do with the social structure. Okay. All right, so we're moving towards this topic here. So moving on to positivist. All right. So positivists believe, how do they conduct research? They conduct research through systematic observation. Okay. What are the different examples of systematic observations?
You could study a specific group.
Yes, so you always plan something beforehand. Okay, how you will be observed on one criteria's one person will be an individual will be observed. So what do they do? Actually, they make a complete format. They write each and every aspect that will be observed. So that's very much structured and systematic. Okay, pre-planned. And then there's an accurate testing, just like in medicines. If we have to check someone's temperature, we just put the strip on the forehead and check the temperature. All right, and that's a tool that we're using. Similarly, sociologists they believe, positivists they believe that accurate testing has to be there. Okay, so how can we do accurate testing? We can do that by employing multiple quantitative data tools. Okay, so the measurements have to be quantitative. You can go with close-ended questions. Okay, no open-ended questions, right? So this will make it. So once you are making things objective, once you're making your research quantitative, okay, then it increases the objectivity. And then objectivity links with the reliability. What is reliability?
So that if your data will hold up being human, if your data is accurate,
Hmm.
reliable as in every time you use it, it will
Yes.
prove
Yeah.
in line with what the data has provided.
Okay, so it's like, if you have conducted a research, so retest, if you do the retest, right? So you might get the same kind of result. So retesting actually supports reliability. All right? Yes. So, in summary, if we look at the summary of positivist, so let's have a quick recap of it. Okay. So, the primary research goal is to explain. Okay. This is to explain, not to describe. Do not describe what is happening. Just explain it. Just explain the phenomenon, social phenomena. All right. Social phenomena is suicide rate, divorce ratio. Okay, is spiking up. It has spiked up in recent 10 years. Okay, then they say poverty, for example, inflation. So maybe you can just look at them and how they're shaping the behavior of an individual, because these are different social structures that are impacting one's behavior. Okay, then we look at the scientific research. This is scientific research is only for to describe the journal rules. You know, journal just describe the journals. Do not look at that decide individual behavior, but do not look into deeper. About the feelings, because in that case it will become very much subjective.
Yes.
Okay, because then the reliability
Suicide
would be
rate
low.
will be, if we become subjective, then all suicide rates can be dismissed as well for different reasons.
Yes.
Because every person is entitled to.
All right, that's true. Then they say the social, the social scientist must personally be objective. Okay, they should not be subjective at all. Scientific research involves the ability to quantify and measure behavior. You know, okay, that's what they believe. And one of the very you know uh, founder of positivist is actually, he established the positive approach is Auguste Comte. Remember him with 14 August, the day your result, 16 August, the day your result will be announced, A levels. Yes, yes. Okay. And he says, he argues that sociology was a science and it could discover laws of human behavior. Just as scientists discover laws of gravity, and gravity is an unseen force. Okay, similarly, these social factors are unseen forces which are impacting the behavior of individual. Okay, and he argued that the sociology, society should be run by sociologists like you and me. All right, because we can make changes, okay, in the behavior. And you might have seen lots of very good seasons on TV which are based on sociology. Sociologists and psychologists particularly, they play hand in hand. There are lots of good one on Apple TV. All right, yes, I'll suggest you one. But I just need to flex, right? I'm just kidding, right? Forget about it. Okay, yes, you're right. Same as me, brother. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. Now let's move on towards interpretivist approach. Now it's the opposite. Okay.
As subject.
Yeah, it's subjective. It's at the micro level. Very good. Okay, and
It is not studied as a science.
yes,
That people's feelings are validated in
yes,
the data. And
yes.
the data is not quantitative, it's qualitative.
Yes, exactly. Very good. So this is society does not exist in objective form. It it is created by the way people interact with each other and experience subjectively because it is it because we give it meaning through behavior. All right, for example, my behavior with you right now could be different because the context is different. Okay, similarly, your behavior when you hang out with your friends is entirely different. So it's actually contextualized. So maybe you're a little carefree among them, maybe you are slightly rowdy among them. Okay, yes, that's what it exactly what. But at the same time, the context defines the behavior. It's not the objective. It's not a solid science that every time two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of what oxygen will make water. So it's the different thing. Yeah, H2O is water, by the way. You have not studied. Yeah, yeah, two molecules of hydrogen, one molecule of oxygen. So society is not something out there to be objectively observed. All right. So that's what it says. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Josefa. Hanji. I'm teaching right now. You can come at 11. Yes. Okay, Lafez. All right. Yeah. He lives just there. Don't you know?
Everybody is just
Okay. If researching social behavior involves understanding how people will individually and collectively experience, they interpret their situation, what situation they are. So they are more into, social settings. Okay, more micro level. So that's what we need to look at. So what do they say? They say, yes, yes, we have to. Now let's look at let's summarize interpretivist. Okay, so the primary aim is to describe social behavior. Yes, behaviors are context bound. Okay, and they change. They change in subtle ways depending on the situation. Right, and then they say uncovering or describing behavior rules um, has involves a close study of people. It's not superficial study of people, not at a macro level. Just go to the micro level. Yes, and then they say while reliability is very much important, retesting is important. So interpreters they give more value to achieving validity. Something has to be valid. No matter how many times you're repeating, it creates increases reliability. But what if it's not valid? Yes, what if it's just made up? What if it's just being created? All right. So, so it gives researcher a deeper insight. It's detailed. It gives researcher a deeper insight. Now, let's look at few questions that we have. Okay, there. It says question number 126 marker. It says evaluate the view using different research methods together is more effective than using one method. Okay, so it is referring to actually triangulation. You remember we just studied this topic, triangulation, when we are actually using multiple tools to conduct our research. Okay, and then inter-data reliability is increased. Demand characteristics are reduced. Yes, and and lots of other things are improved, right? Okay. Then, so what points will you have to write in favor of this one?
Of which they
Multiple tools should be used. It's a 26 marker, so you should write at least 6 points in favor and 5 points in judgmental way. Yes.
Well, I think in favor, I would write that it will help us study at the micro level.
Okay. All right.
It will help us or have a better understanding of the topic,
Okay.
and it will have multiple points
All right.
that will help us break it down more.
Okay. Like, these are these are general points, and we need to be a little specific now, because this is 26 marker. You know how to approach it, right? You don't know. Don't tell me. All right. So 6 points are actually in favor. Six
Yes.
points are against, and you have to use peel over here. Point, evidence, explain, and link.
Right.
All right. So you make a point. You use an evidence which is actually sociological material. All right. Over here, evidence. I will refer to sociological material. Okay, and then explain and link back to the point. For example, if you're saying it to yes,
Point. Well, I write point.
yeah,
And I will explain it using sociological material.
yes, dear.
And I will give evidence.
No, this evidence is actually sociological material.
Explain is.
Explanation is
The
what you're.
point.
Yes, exactly.
And then I
Link it.
evidence
Yeah.
sociological, and then I link the sociological evidence to the point.
Yes. All right. It's a quite a kind of little effort that you might have to put. For example, if you say, like you were saying it generically, when you're using multiple research methods, it improves the
Uh,
quality of the research.
Yeah.
All right. Now you are going to tell us what are the different sociological research methods that you're going to use. Okay, and how it is actually improving the quality of the research. Okay. So, for example, when we say the use of different types of data collection, for example, you're using quantitative data, you're using qualitative data. Okay. So, what tools will you be using to you take quantitative and qualitative data? Are you going for unstructured interviews, structured interviews, or semi-structured interviews?
Qualitative data.
Yes.
Explain the unstructured.
Unstructured interviews. So, how it's going to improve the internal validity? Okay, so this is going to improve the internal validity because that will be more contextualized. According to interpretivist, so behavior would be more contextualized, right? So it's at a micro level. So method, like there's Brahman who said that, when we are using multiple tools, okay, the use of different methods or data to check the validity and reliability and representativeness of the approach taken. Okay, that's what Brahman said. It improves the quality of the research. Okay, then methods that produce best fit, most suitable practical examples. Okay, we can have theoretical position and practical position as well. Okay, realistic advocates that use of qualitative and quantitative research to gain a deeper understanding improves the validity. All right. So who do we need to keep in mind? We have to keep in mind um, Barker, all right, and Marsh. Okay. And then we have to look for the related concept is triangulation, methodological pluralism. Remember, what is pluralism? When you're employing more than one research method to conduct it. It's mixed method. Okay. So you can have mixed method, right? And then we can go with the evaluation for positivist and interpretivist. Okay, so positivist particularly specifically talking about no, research has to be objective. In order to make it objective, you need to have a quantitative data because this way research would be unbiased, all right, and it will improve the quality of the writing. Then you give your own judgment.
Which is against that one.
Yes. Okay. Then you say no, theorists say. Now, interpretivists are particularly talking about no, only context based, only at micro level, only qualitative data. All right. Only research with the feelings and, uh, particular context or subjectivity is something that you cannot ignore, because subjectivity will improve your internal validity. If the context is there, that will improve your validity. Okay, that's what they say. All right, this is what you need to keep in mind. So this is how you create. So we are going in support point that let's try to find out a method which is more concrete, which is employing multiple techniques to research. That's what we need to look into ultimately.
So the 26 mark, right?
Yes.
6 points are in favor of the question.
Yes.
And then 5 points against.
Against. And you write in a way that, you write in a way that you write in a way that you are giving your judgment, your viewpoint. Okay. So judgment is very much important over here. Evaluate means judgment. So you have to give your own viewpoint also.
Each point?
Not to each point, but overall as well. Not only at the end, give along with each paragraph.
So, for example, say I write 6 points.
Yes.
Then at the end of those 6 points, I'll give my judgment. And then when I write the 5 points against, at the end of that paragraph, can I also give my valuation?
I would suggest you to give judgment alongside, side by side. That's even better. Writing only in the last paragraph, in my opinion, to conclude, I would like to say no, please do not do that. It's an essay. All right. Essays are different than that of, articles. So you're writing an essay. Essay has to be more concrete. So it has a structure to follow, like opening paragraph where you define the thesis statement, what is the topic, and then down in the subsequent paragraphs, you talk about pros and cons of the topic that is being studied. A sample?
Basic, yes.
All right. Yes, I can. Why not?
I want to see like.
There's a question that one of our students has done it. I'll share that with you. We'd rather like to go with this one.
I just want to see what the pattern.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, work today. Okay. Yes, a lot of work. Then there is a question that I'm just going to open it for you. All right. If you could look at these phrases that I've shared in the group, like when you're writing evaluation, you can say this is effective because these are very interesting phrases which you can help to employ to write evaluation. By the way, if you could look at the group there, all right. This is effective. This is a successful image. The author, the sociologist trying to show the fact. Okay, this highlights or this emphasizes. These phrases can actually help you to improve your evaluation. Okay, so instead of using the similar evaluative points again and again, it's better to use this one. Okay, now you wanted me to give you a bit idea of 26 mark question. I'll open the sample candidate response for you. Okay, I'll put myself on mute for a while.